Welcome to your day 4 of 29 days of Melanated Excellence 2021. And the topic of today's videos for February 4th of 2021 is so I am someone who does not bully people. I don't go into people's channels and be like, oh, you're doing everything wrong. Nor do I blast people and say such and such channel, they're doing things wrong. I'm not into the whole witch wars, spiritual wars. I'm the most powerful, blah, 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 blah. I'm not into that. However, I do use my platform to correct common misconceptions because I do notice that there's a lot of misinformation that gets spread, especially with YouTube and the accessibility of these things. Anybody could just come on, turn a camera on, and just say whatever, right? And things like that. So some people purposely mislead people, and some people just don't know any better. But I'm noticing this trend of calling everything hoodoo. For example, just because you do a jar spell doesn't mean it's hoodoo. Just because you make a puppet doesn't mean it's hoodoo. Just because you think you say psalms or whatever doesn't necessarily mean it's hoodoo. And what do I mean by that? Hoodoo is working the roots. Yes, there's Bible magic involved. Okay, that is true. So, yes, there's Bible magic involved. But, like I've said before, and I might link my original What is Hoodoo video in the description bar, just so it talks more in depth. I'm not going to waste the whole time explaining it, but there's specific deities that are involved in conjure. And when we're talking about conjure of the diaspora, and also depends on region, right? Some of Hoodoo practitioners didn't use saints because, again, they were not part of their slave owners were not Catholic, they were Protestant. So they would look towards deities like Moses, God, prophets of the Bible, if you will. Then you have elements of hoodoo in New Orleans and places that were exposed to Catholicism, so they might actually have saints like Saint Santa Marta la Dominadora, and Saint Peter's and things of. So it depends on where you're from, where your family's from, how you would actually practice conjure, right? But one thing they didn't do, and I've seen this on multiple videos, they'll be like, oh, hoodoo with the goddess, Morrigan, or hoodoo with the goddess Lilith, or I practice hoodoo, with Serunos and all this stuff. That's not hoodoo, right? Because in hoodoo, they believe in one main god, right? And they believe that God is the magi. God is the best root doctor. God created the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh day. God bestowed their power upon Moses, who was able to part the Red Seas, right? That's why they believe that Moses was a root doctor. Moses had a staff. You see staffs in conjure because of the fact that Moses hit the ground, you know what I mean, and he was able to separate the oceans. He also hit the staff and made serpents and fought against the serpents against the two serpents that the magi of the Pharaoh tried to go against him, and the one snake bit and ate and swallowed up the other two snakes from the magi, from the magicians that were part of the royal court of the Pharaoh. So point being, you can't just call everything hoodoo. Okay? I've seen hoodoo powdered baths with the chakra system. Chakra systems has nothing to do with hoodoo. When I work with chakras, I'm not saying that I work with hoodoo. Hoodoo is its own practice, right? I keep my practices separately. I do practice more than one thing, but I keep them separately, right? My chakra practice is completely separate from my conjure practice, from my Santeria practice, and from my Haitian voodoo. That has nothing to do with the ATRs. Like, chakras has nothing to do with the ATRs. The goddess Morrigan doesn't have anything to do with the ATRs. Serunos has nothing to do with the ATRs. So you can't just call everything conjure. You can't just call everything hoodoo, right? So there are other practices around the world that practice folk magic. For instance, one channel that I love to watch is Mary Faroon. She practices Italian folk magic through the saints, works with the Black Madonna. She calls it folk magic, right? You have Italian folk magic, which is what she practices. You have English folk magic. You have Cornish folk magic. You have Arabian folk magic. Okay, there's someone on YouTube that does that too. There's various traditions that practice their own form of folk magic. Romani people practice folk magic. Okay, they have their own form of folk magic where they actually also conjure up prophets of the Bible. There's Bible verses that are said and things like that, and they have their own ways of doing things. Conjure, when we're talking about the ATR, it's its own separate thing. Other cultures have their own form of folk magic. Folk magic and conjure are two different things. And I noticed there's this trend of just calling everything like a gumbo, just mixing, moshing, and calling everything everything. And I feel like when we start doing that, we start losing the essence of the practice. Like there's someone right now, well, there's like 3 channels right now. I'm not subscribed to them anymore because I just, again, I'm not going to go fight with the creator, content creator, but at the same time, it don't sit with my spirit. You're like really giving misinformation. And saying that you are a conjurer and you practice voodoo, but you're working with the goddess Morrigan and Sarunos. That has nothing to do with voodoo either. And I'm making up my own veves. Like, what are you talking about? A sigil is not a veve either. Like, I'm going to make a video about that too. We have to stop doing that. Like, you just can't do whatever you want. Like, that's not how that works. So you can be practicing folk magic with the goddess Morrigan. I can understand that. I can see that. That's fine, right? Because folk magic has a lot of the same spells that are everyday item. That's what folk magic is. You're using the everyday to create magic. Okay, and I think that's the attraction a lot of people have to when people are sharing hoodoo recipes, which is great. Just say it's folk magic. Folk magic is an umbrella term, and it's like witchcraft. You can do what you want to do. But when you're going into traditions and just putting in your own deities into it that has nothing to do with the tradition, no, I can't say, yes, I'm working with Lord Shiva in a hoodoo spell. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying. So just wanted to put that out there. When you start invoking these deities, which I have so much respect for, I've actually served the goddess Morrigan at a time in my life. I don't directly serve her anymore. Sometimes that happens. Spirits come to you and then they go. But I never, when I served her, never said I was doing conjure. I had a whole different way of working with her because I searched the country of origin of hers and tried to be respectful and went to the people of that culture and asked questions. And when I had a practice with her, I made sure it was something that would resonate with her energy because she deserves that respect. You know, when spirits come to us to serve them and work with them and have a working relationship with them, the least we could do is research the origin of where these spirits are coming from so that we can try to keep things as traditional as possible. I find that to be a homage and a sign of respect. So, everything is not hoodoo. And that's just, everything nowadays is just hoodoo. Anything, jar spells, love spells, sweet jars, honey jars, everything is hoodoo. There's other cultures that use the same kind of things, and most of them are folk magic, and that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So that's what I wanted to say on this video. Hopefully you enjoyed these 2 videos, and I'll keep talking about various topics of the ATR. Stay tuned for more videos this month. Please like, please subscribe, and please comment below. And until the next video, guys, much love, much light, much blessings. If you want to work with me on a one-on-one basis, shamanic@waxpriestess.com, shamanic@waxpriestess.com. I do psychic readings and many types of specialized readings. So if you go on my website, the description box, there's a description when you click on the shop of what my readings are. Okay, if you still have further questions, you can always contact me in the contact form, and I will help you to understand what my services are. I have no problem with that. Business inquiries only, of course, no personal emails. But yes, feel free to look at my website, see if that's something you're interested in. I always love meeting new people. So much love, much light, much blessings. Bye, guys, and happy Happy Black History Month. Bye bye.